Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. This is our part two to Venus meets Mars. Susannah is back at the cafe. I am so grateful. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit more about Mars and Venus in the chart. We're going to kind of talk about aspects, how they connect when they go through, the conjunction all the way to the opposition. We're going to talk a little bit about when they don't really speak the same language, which I'm kind of really excited about as well. So, Susannah, thank you so much for joining me. We were just
Thank
chatting for
you.
everyone. We were just chatting about how this feels so good and so wonderful and so fulfilling. And I'm just so grateful to share this at the cafe. So, Susannah, for anyone who's not seen part one, I would love for you to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about the work that you do.
Hello. I'm Susanna from the Modern Priestess Collective. I'm an astrologer and a Reiki master, and just generally want to help work with people to fall back in love with themselves and realize just how absolutely incredibly imagine and perfect and wonderful they are, just exactly as they are. And
Yeah.
I think that there is such a clear map to that in our astrology chart. And, I just, that's what I like to do.
I'm
And
so
I love to talk
grateful.
about it.
I know it's just before we started recording, we were both just geeking out a little bit about some of the coming transits and like depending on whenever you're watching this, whether it's in 2025 or far into the future, it's just so exciting the way that the planets communicate and they're whispering, they're shouting at us. There's so many beautiful, potent alignments that are happening and that are coming that it reminds us how not alone we are and how the stars are such an imprint of what we're experiencing. And so, our intentions for today are to really empower you with some information about the chart, to give you a little bit of validation, to feel seen and encouraged. And Susannah, we've put just some questions in the description that could be helpful for you. And so, let's kick it off. Let's kick it off
Okay,
at the beginning. I think
let's
like
get it
I
going.
let's start with the conjunction. So we can start with a Venus Mars conjunction. And also for everyone that, so much of what I do is Mars based. A lot of what Susannah does is Venus based and it's embodying the Venus, the priestess, the goddess inside of you. And so we're really speaking from our own individual I statements of mastery of what we've studied and what we've really discovered. So it's kind of like Sarah, Mars, Aries, Scorpio rising, and our Venus specialist over here. So I'm very, very excited. So let's start with a Venus Mars conjunction and how that might look and this, we're really going to talk about this in transit as well as what this could look like in the birth chart. So we'll go through each of the bigger aspects. I think the conjunction, sextile, square, trine, and opposition. I think we're not going to get into any of the nitty-gritties of it, but
Yeah.
yes, but what are your thoughts on a Venus Mars conjunction? What have you seen in your practice? What have you seen in birth charts? And how do you feel about that in transit as well? What are your thoughts?
So a Venus and Mars conjunction, oftentimes this is where like desire and action can be fused. I think this is someone who just acts on instinct. If this is in a natal chart, your instinct and your attraction are going to be fused. This is going to
Mhm.
be really in this is going to bring intensity and charisma and like really creative fire, but I think it can probably blur boundaries at times. Like really questioning what's driving you. I think the impulsivity can probably be really hard to pause and distinguish why do I want this? What it's just discernment, I think, is the big one with a
Yes.
conjunction.
Yes, I agree with that completely. I've seen reading charts before when this conjunction comes up in air signs, that there is a little bit of when it comes to relationships where I've dated women, I've dated men, and then I've been friends with someone, and then I've been in, polyamorous relationships, I've been in this type of
Mhm.
relationships, and friends have gone to lovers and then back again, like that, like there was a Venus Mars conjunction that I read in a chart that was in Gemini in the 11th house, and it was
Oh
like
my.
exactly that face. And
I
it
bet
was
that was
beautiful to
fun.
see. It was so much fun. Like there was
Yeah.
so much charisma. There was so much, but it really was that go like every line was blurred. and
Mm.
but there was discernment within it, and that was the beautiful part of it. There was that discernment, but at, earlier seasons of life, not so much. So it was a lot of exploratory learning, I think. But I agree with that. And I think that the divine masculine and the divine feminine within you, like you've seen the cafe breaking it down in lenses, is to
Mhm.
looking at Venus by itself, getting to know Venus by itself, and then getting to know Mars by itself. Because I feel like when we have those potent conjunctions in the chart, in the birth chart, to really be able to say, okay, they're at the same table forever. How am I getting them to communicate? How am I getting one to really give and receive what it needs, and then the other the capacity to give and receive what it needs? So I think, yeah, it's
Need to be
that's
so grounded in both of them
yes.
individually to
Yes.
really have them let them work so beautifully together.
I love that. I'm just like, I like it popped into my brain, Susanna, of thinking of like, if there was a Venus Mars conjunction in Taurus, that would be the coolest. Like, I want to meet that person.
I
Like, that
want
would
to
be,
be in their like I
yeah,
want to be where they live. I
that's
want
ex oh
to,
my
yeah.
God.
I want to
It's like,
just
which
hang
house do you
out
want to
at
be in? Yeah.
right. I want to just flow along in the absolute delight of your life.
That is just, oh my goodness. It's so like that just seems so powerful. So I think that to really circle back to some of our intention language of like these like elemental clashes, I wouldn't say that conjunction, I wouldn't say, and I'd love your thoughts. Maybe it's based on the element, but that would be like destined to be that they're not really communicating the right way, that they're not really speaking the same language. I would say that it would take, like you said, incredible discernment to really let it, yeah, like that in Aries would take a lot of talk, that like a lot of talking things out, like a lot of deciphering what it is that we've wanted. But yeah, I think that it would really depend on the element. What do you think?
I think it would definitely depend on the element.
Mm.
I think like my husband has, I don't have his chart in front of me, but I don't think they're conjunct, but my husband has Mars and Venus both in Virgo. Um, yeah.
That's a
And
lot. You're getting things done. You
we
are
are
getting things
we're
done.
both
Yeah.
Virgo risings too, so it's
Oh
yeah.
my God.
It
That's, I
just
love that.
it helps our life flow really well.
Hmm.
Like there is kind of a base understanding of the way we move through the world that is nice. Um,
Love that.
but yeah, in an earth sign, I could see it really being like to get the Venus grounded in the earth sign is really, it is such a tactile, physical process. And that Mars wants to, okay, what are we creating? What are we building? But it's not ready yet. It's not, I could see that being very difficult to reconcile at times.
Yes. 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 And definitely like, I think that there's receiving the validation and having, it's just coming to me now, like getting your chart read or utilizing the moon cycles could be such a therapy for that, could be such a solve for that. Whereas it doesn't have to be, and I'm sure you've seen this in your practices as well, that I have clients that have come and they're like, well, I was told this, and that I'm just like destined to have this be that way. And, when we could talk about squares, that's what I have in my natal chart as a Venus square Mars. And so it doesn't have to be that you're destined to that. It just says this is there and just will take some extra attention. It will take extra working with and extra time, just like when you have, multiple children. You got to spend time with one and then spend time with the other. You have different platforms that you're utilizing. For my entrepreneurs, you have to give attention to YouTube and then attention to Instagram and then attention to TikTok. So it doesn't have to be you're fated by this chart, but it's like it will take a lot more attention, a lot more attention. And with these being such beautiful interpersonal planets, like I love how, efficient these transits can be, the transits of Venus and the transits of Mars. And I love how we can really fall in love with ourselves through the transits and fall in love with ourselves through these conjunct or these aspects. And it's just it's beautiful when you just get to know how you natally receive, how you natally want to give or accomplish something, do something in this world. And it's just I'd fall in love with these so much. I just really do. And
Me too.
let's, do you think talking about the next, because I want this to be accessible for people
Mhm.
watching at any time. But do you think
Yeah.
talking about the next conjunction could be helpful?
I think it probably could be. Yeah.
Because we discovered something kind of
Yeah.
interesting,
We
which is
discovered
like,
something very interesting. This is exciting.
I know. So it is, what's
We're
the date
building a
today? It's the
lovely
12th of
foundation.
July. It's the 12th of July as we record this. And it's like, we just geek out
2025.
about astrology. It's like, this is so exciting. And so 2 days ago, we just had the full moon in Capricorn at 18 degrees. So the next conjunction of Venus and Mars is going to be on the 7th of January, 2026. And please, depending on your time zone, because this is Eastern Standard Time, so it might be different for people in the Southern Hemisphere. But it's going to be Venus and Mars conjunct in Capricorn at 18 degrees at the exact location. I know, I got so excited. At the exact location of that full moon. So, what do you think that means from your perspective, Susanna? I'd love to hear your thoughts because it's like we just plowed the field with that full moon that was closing
Right?
cycles from
Oh, it's so good.
last December 2024. And it's just, I'm so excited about this. Like, what are your thoughts? Because it's just like, it's like a whole new seed being planted. Like, what do you
For me,
think?
that full moon was really about releasing just the things that are kind of standing in the way of what it is that we're wanting to create, to build Capricorn, you know?
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
and so when we have a Mars and Venus conjunction at that spot, that is going to be this incredible check-in with our motivation and our sacred self-worth and like, okay, where are we? What are we building? Let's check in. Have we released what we said we wanted to? Do we still are we still on the same path? Is this still what we want? You know?
I love
And
that.
I'm so excited for that conjunction for them to just kind of huddle together and have like their passionate meeting and okay, let's check back in. Let's be together again and then let's go from there and let's get back to what we were building.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I
I
like
love
I
that.
want to give everyone the visual. So this is going to
Please.
be 18 degrees. This is going to be in the general wheel, starts in Aries and goes to Pisces. This is our house of legacy, public image, career, and it really says to me like this is the beauty of top down. There's so much beauty to hard work, to systems, to structures. There's so much beauty to all things Capricorn, where Capricorn wants things to be safe. It wants things to be, it's about your legacy. It's so much about what you're creating moving forward and what you're creating in your world. And I'm just so excited for the way we receive and the way we give to be really chit-chatting. I love this so much. I love like and breaking down the lens, like when Mars is by itself in Capricorn, it's like you're focused on, and it's a little bit morbid, but like what are they saying at the eulogy? It's not so much like, oh, they stayed late at the office. It's what is the legacy? What is the why? What is the big goal? This is the big safe thing. And it's kind of on the axis of the mother in Cancer and then the father over here in Capricorn. So what we've been releasing, and like you had said, what's just not working, the systems and the structures and what isn't working, this is going to be such a huge point for us to say, well, what is working? What do we want? What's the next platform? What are we building for this next cycle? And it's just, I'm so excited about that. And I just love that it's in Capricorn. And I love it's at the exact degree of what we just released on the full moon. Like it's just,
That's so perfect.
it's
It's
so
just
nice.
so
It's so
beautiful.
nice. It's so nice. So, any other notes on conjunctions before we talk sextiles next?
I don't think so. It really is it is discernment. It is being able to pause and to respond, not react.
Yes, yes, I love that language so much. You're just perfectly speaking my language. I love it. So, sextiles. Before we even dive into the Venus and Mars of it, I would love what is your like short and sweet description of sextiles in general? Like I like, and I've told my, my community,
Yours is my favorite.
oh
So
my God, it's like your favorite cousin showing up at the party. You're like, we could. for the walk, we could burn it down, we could do good things. Like it's that workable energy, but you got to put a little bit of effort into it, but you're jazzed
Gonna
about
be
it.
what you make of it.
It's
I
so
literally
exact.
went to my favorite cousin's birthday was the other day, and we went, she had friends go to this country bar that literally I had not been to in 30 years.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
was
Oh,
like,
that's
and it
beautiful.
was, it could have been anything. It was so fun. Like, learned most of a new line dance and everything. I don't do country music at all, but I
Oh.
thought of you when I was there. I was like, we could act a foot. We could.
It's so possible. There's so many possibilities. It could just be such a fun time. So
It
that's,
was
you know,
such a
sextiles in
compliment.
general. That's my perspective of it. But so when we have Venus and Mars in sextile, like I think it's really the same thing. I think like I would feel like that person just their inner masculine, their inner feminine. It's fun. They're like, this is just popping into my head. It's like they know how to take care of themselves and they know how to lean into the work when they need to do the work.
Mhm.
And like it's like they got a good self-care ritual going on, but they also know how to like do a big like a hefty workload of a week. So
Yeah.
like how would you describe a sextile of Venus and Mars? In transit in the chart, how would you talk about that?
I love it. It's very harmonious, but it has to be like consciously activated, you know? I think a sextile is such a good invitation for a collaboration. Um,
Yes, yes,
like
yes.
between kind of if it's, Mars and Venus, this is going to be a collaboration between like what we long for and how we pursue it, I think. Um,
Yes.
and it requires participation. You have to engage the energies. You cannot take them
Mhm.
for granted. Sextiles, you cannot be lazy. You can sometimes be a little lazy with a trine. You cannot be lazy with a sextile. You have to understand both of these energies, but I think they can really dance beautifully together.
I agree with that so much. It's as you were talking, the word standards popped into my head. Whereas when you level up your standards, and I feel like this could be from inner work, this could be personal growth and development, or just getting to know your chart. I feel as though what you're attracted to or the job they like it'll change instantly where you're like, this isn't for me anymore. My like I've leveled up, I've really and it says to me it's kind of like mutable placements in a way that once you've learned something, like especially for you with so many Virgo placements, like once you've educated yourself, learned something, you're like, oh, I'm done with that now. Like, oh, we're never going to do that again. That's fine. Like, I've checked my sources. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Oh,
It's,
that's what happened.
it's,
That was unpleasant.
it's oh my God, it's so nice. And but I really I feel like whether it's Venus and you utilize that self-care and then that sextile to Mars, you're like, okay, this is just gonna like I'm just seeing like a lightning bolt go between them. And then all of a sudden Mars is like, oh, we need a new environment, we need a new job, we need a new dress, we need a new something or other. But it's once you level up those standards they both kind of connect at the same time. Like if you're giving the energy into one or the energy into the other, they're so beautifully connected. But it takes that attention, it takes that work, it takes that drive to really utilize it. And
I
and I
think you
agree with you.
have
I
to be
think
made uncomfortable by one of them.
yeah, that
I
that
think you
tracks.
have
Yeah.
to be made uncomfortable by one of them
Yes,
to
definitely.
be really inspired to work with this one if it's not something you're aware of in your astrology chart. I think
Hmm.
seeing it in your astrology chart and learning about them, you can build on this and work with it before they make you uncomfortable.
Yes,
But without that language, one of them is going to make you uncomfortable to teach
I
you.
agree with you.
I
I
mean,
agree
that's
with you
probably the case in
100%.
all of them, but that popped in my
It's
head for a sextile.
No, and I agree with you. And it's popping into my head as well as you're talking. It's kind of like when you level up those standards, but this could be, and like we're not projecting, but this is just in our conversation, but it's like maybe staying in a relationship too long because you've been with them for so long, or there's something like that. And then all of a sudden, where something big happens, one of them gets activated, and you're just like, oh, no, 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 I can't do this anymore. And then you realize you have to put the work into it. So I agree. I don't think that it can become complacent, but maybe depending on the signs, if it's in more of a fixed mode, if one of them is in a fixed modality, you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then all of a sudden you're like, yes, I'm in my, you know, what's the word I want to look for? Like the soft era or my like love, like self-love era or something like
Mhm.
that. But there's a client and a friend that I know that has a Venus Mars sextile, and it was so beautiful that once she had leveled up certain things, she's like, "Oh, we're done. Well, I couldn't do that again." And just a beautiful way to see that the inner work, it does express itself in the chart. You can see it like you would introduce. You can see it so beautifully in the chart, and it's just yeah, it's a really wonderful way to just to learn about yourself and to develop and to grow. And there's I did a little bit of research into like where the next ones are coming up. So it's actually sooner. It's in September that the next Venus
Mm,
Mars sextile is going to be, and that will be in Leo. Venus will be in Leo.
that's my natal placement.
I'm so excited. And then Mars is going to be Libra. Oh my gosh, this will be at 25 degrees. So this is going to be, and again, please check my dates, but the 15th of September, 2025. But sextiles are a lot more common for there to be because these are inner planets. So they're going to kind of dance around each other around the sun. Once we talk more about the trines and the oppositions, those are going to be a little bit different. But we'll triple check our dates and put those dates below for you. And but really looking at the sextiles again is that workable energy. I'd love your thoughts on this because I love Venus and Leo so much.
I'm quite
In
partial to Venus and Leo myself.
I love Venus and Leo so much. Like I absolutely love it. Mars in Libra is very fascinating, and it's something that I talk about heavily in my Mastering Mars program, whereas
Yeah.
transit or by natal, that takes a lot of attention. And when Mars goes into Libra. When is that going to happen? That's going to happen on the 6th of August, 2025. We'll have that transit. It takes incredible discernment, I'll say, and it can be when you have, how do I say, any sign, any placement, you can see the healthy or what I've called before, like the evolved, the evolving, or the unevolved. You can
Right.
express it in whatever way that you want to. So we're not bound to it, but it's how we view it, what we do with it, how we work with it. So this is very beautiful, but at the same time, it can be what I've seen in my practice, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about any of these as well. Whereas it can be maybe at a younger age, I tried to express myself, or I did something that tipped the scale too far in one direction, and now I don't know how to healthily express myself. It can be so beautiful and very cunning. It can also be very you don't like it's when I think of Mars and Libra, it can be I'm playing chess and I'm really taking my time with it and I'm really seeing what's going on. But instead of the Mars and Virgo application of I'm playing chess and now what am I going to do with it, it can be a little bit defensive. It can be a little bit defensive because I think of the scales of Libra in and of themselves. They never just like click into place and then it's like, oh, life is balanced. But when we think of the beautiful opposition signs, like Mars and Aries, that's a vibe. We know Mars and Aries. Mars is run by Aries, Aries is run by Mars. So Libra understands Aries, but they don't always get the execution of it. They're like, I see you. I see that you burned it down. I just wouldn't have done it that way. I would have paid someone to do it, type of energy.
Yeah.
But this, I'm excited about this, and I really think that it's going to be, like you had said, that workable energy.
Mhm.
Because Venus and Leo, like, it's just you're so worthy of love and attention and praise and all the beautiful things that there are. Like there's just like I love that placement. I
Oh,
love
we are
it.
the disco glitter kitten.
So good. It's so good. It's just so good. So I'd love your perspective on that and what you think this could show up. And please, I invite you if you have a different perspective and opinion of Mars and Libra or any of the Libra placements, I'd love that as well.
I don't really. I think this aspect kind of because Venus in Leo is very much wants to celebrate and be celebrated. And I have it in the 12th house, which is fun. Um, but with this sextile, I really feel like it's as long as you are when you are really embodied in that knowing that yes, you are worthy of celebration and what you have, what is coming up, what you want to share with the world, you want to share it for a reason. It is there
Mhm.
for a reason. Mars in Libra, I think when it's evolved, it knows that what it is bringing is worthy of being shared also, and wants to present it in the most beautiful, balanced way. I think Mars in Libra, like a lot of things in Libra, can veer into people pleasing at times. Um,
Yes, yes,
and I think
yes,
I think the Venus in Leo, I think that is where you can really pull on that to know that instead, am I wanting to do everything to make everyone happy? No, I am worthy of this. What I want is, and so I love this sextile. I absolutely
yes,
love it
yes. Oh
because
my
I
goodness, I
think
agree with
The
everything.
Venus in Leo can really be that strong foundation to protect against any sort of people pleasing or like abandoning yourself.
Oh my, and it's just, I love as you're talking, I'm seeing like the masculinity, like the grounded masculinity of Leo encompassing and protecting the femininity of Venus, and then the femininity of Libra, kind of like it's like the yin and the yang, but that Mars, the masculine planet in that sign, it really is. It's like this, and this happening, in the general wheel, creativity, expression, childlike spirits, and then relationships, that balance. I love that. It's, you have something to say, you have something to do, you have something to create. And really, just like in my practice, it's, however we handled and navigated the transit before is going to show how we handle and navigate the transit to come. So if we're really doing those reps and sets right now with Mars going through Virgo, when Mars gets into Libra, and with this sextile, it's saying, I know and love myself enough. I don't need that external validation, maybe, because I know
Yes.
what it is that I'm saying is right. I know what it is that I'm saying is the path. And so much of what we, and like Suzanne and I were chatting a little bit about this earlier, and we've talked about it in depth on the lives and in the membership group, whereas we're laying the foundation in 2025 for what 2026, even to 2030, is what we're really going to be actually like. We're building the platform, we're building the foundation for what it is we're doing, where we're going, whatever that may look like for you individually. So, this is a huge point of saying, I love myself, and it's that blend of the feminine masculine. I'm just seeing like the yin and the yang, and they're protecting each other within that. So that's beautiful. And really, like, that this could be a time to really raise your standards if this is something that, or during sextiles, or if that's something that you have within your own birth chart to look at and to work with. Am I receiving in the way that I want to receive? Am I asserting myself in the way that speaks to my most evolved version of myself, and not any other pattern that I've been taught, or not out of a trauma response in any capacity? But oh my God, I love a good sextile. It's like it's probably just like one of my favorite
So
types of
good.
transits. And they take, they're not as, loved as the trines, or as the, feared as the squares, or things like that.
Which are
But
my favorite.
you love squares, and
I love squares.
they're so beautiful. And we
I
might have
love
touched
them.
upon it. We might have touched upon it in the last video, but I'm going to set up the next square that we have coming up, which, oh my goodness, I don't think we have one until next. No, it's
It's
now. It's
The
coming up.
Mars Gemini.
Yes. Oh my God, we have so much to talk about. But I'd love for you to share with the cafe a little bit of your perspective and the way that you talk about squares, because it's so
Yes.
beautiful. It's just so
Oh,
beautiful.
so I draw on my construction background. So in my Muggle life, I also there's a construction company. Anyway, squares are our foundation. Squares are two energies that are coming in from different directions and they're meeting and they're forming a corner. And like if you do that without a lot of thought, nothing you build on top of that is going to stand. It will fall down, it will crack, it will sink, it will be a mess. But when squares are built thoughtfully, they are the strongest points in our chart. And you can build anything on top of them when they come together thoughtfully and with intention and with a solid understanding of what you're working with. Like they are they are absolutely beautiful and you
I
can
love
do anything with them.
love that. You really helped me rebrand my own natal chart, because I have Venus square Mars in my natal chart.
Mhm.
So my natal Venus is in Aquarius. I've shared this kind of before with everybody, but my natal Venus is in Aquarius in the fourth house. My natal Mars is in Taurus in the seventh house, and it technically forms a T square with my midheaven. So it's like it's it's awesome. And it was one of the first things. that I noticed when I started studying astrology, when I started studying my chart. And it wasn't until like I'd really met you and I had heard that description that I'm like, that's why. That's why I was building a house on sand. I wasn't supposed like it was so beautiful and it's so true. And it's almost as if that aspect, this phrase is it's like it's protecting you from failure. It's like protecting you from, oh my God, that's so beautiful. It's just so
It
beautiful. Like
is. And squares are
it's
Saturnian too, and that's Saturn wants to reward and protect hard work, you know?
it's so lovely. Oh my goodness. Well, like I said, we're recording this on the 12th. On the 23rd of July, we're going to have square. We'll have Mars over here in Virgo, and we'll have Venus over here in Gemini. Oh my goodness. Okay. I want to share just what we're going to next year, and then we're going to circle back because it's so exciting and it's just so
So
beautiful.
exciting.
It's just I like this is where
I'm
we
having
geek
a
out
chills.
on like this is how you know you're an astrologer is when this is your reaction when you see things like this.
Literally, we
It's
didn't even say hello when the Zoom opened. Sarah was like, "Oh my gosh." It was
I
awesome.
was like,
It
you
made my
gotta see
day.
this. And she's like, I know, girl.
I
I know,
know.
girl. So, so, so the 23rd of July, 2025, Venus is going to be at 21 degrees and Mars is going to be in 21 degrees over here. The next It is the next square. The next square that we're going to have is on the 29th of July, 2026, where Mars is going to be at 21 degrees of Gemini and Venus is going to be at 21 degrees of Virgo. The exact degree. The exact degree. So this is,
Love it.
please, for everyone watching, find out where 21 degrees of Gemini and 21 degrees of Virgo fall in your chart. What houses are they in? Like what is being aspected? What is coming up? Because this dance of Venus and Mars is like, I'm going to put them back so we can go from now and then we can talk about this. But like, what do you think of that? It's just, there's so much to Venus is such a, I want to really speak to Venus and have you speak to Venus right now because Venus, again, in July, I want to just note it was about Uranus. Oh, it's going to be in April. April 2026, Venus is going to conjunct with Uranus at 29 degrees. And then it's like that Venus conjunct Uranus, she's showing us to lead with love in
She's on
everything that
such a
we're doing.
journey.
It's just from like December 2024 when she kicked off that conjunction of Pluto up until now and like going, she's just spearheading the whole way. So I'd love for you to talk about anything having to do with squares, anything that you see within this, any channeled messages that you have, because I'm more jazzed than I think that my effervescence is really showing. So like I love it. Like
So
what is this
Venus
bringing
in
up for you?
Gemini, like she's been through when we look at the zodiac as kind of a cycle, like a procession, she's Venus was in Taurus and she got really like rooted in her body. She's very embodied. She knows what matters to her, what feels good. She moves into Gemini, and this is when she gets presented with so many options and so many choices. And so ideally, this this evolved Venus that has moved from Taurus to Gemini, she knows immediately what's a yes and what's a no. Um, and
Yes.
so when we're presented
Yes.
with everything, and so if we're squaring Mars in Virgo is discernment is huge. Mars in Virgo knows to take that small actions can be huge, that they can be Mars in Virgo wants to take the precise steps and wants to move forward, but wants to move forward with intention and discernment. And so when these two can check in with each other, if you know in your body right away, you're like, that's a yes, that's a no. Then you can work with that Mars in Virgo, which is forming the other part of that square, and they're so woven together. And then it's yes, okay, that action, I will do that. And this is where we can clean up and take care of really small things. I love this square.
I love that. That's so beautiful. It really shows that Venus being in such a high mind sign and Mars being in such a chop wood, carry water, like reps and sets type of a thing. It really says that our assertion is going to be in our body, but that the thought can come in quick. Like, that's not for me. That is for me. I want this. I don't want this. This is a yes. This is a no. I'm done with this. And it's so beautiful. I love the
And they're
way
both
that they're,
mutable signs too. I want to point that out. They're both
yes, yes,
mutable
there's,
signs, so they flow well together.
it's so beautiful. And it really just, I love that there's such a hard aspect within mutability because it is. It's like our egos might be a little bit triggered if things that we want are not coming to light right away, or if what we're working towards, maybe it's taking a
Triggering.
little
Yeah.
bit longer. It could be so triggering. It could be so frustrating. And our impatience, hi, I'm an Aries at 2 degrees. Like it's like we're all getting triggered, but it really says that you're worthy of things being, like you'd said with that Venus and Taurus, you're worthy of things being solid. You're worthy of your standards being met. You're worthy of the people around you feeling good and being what your daily life looks like is joy filled, is love filled, and really saying like, you know, tomorrow's not promised. So enjoy the day, enjoy the people that you're around, enjoy the work that you're doing. Why are you doing it? And I'm very excited about this. And where are we sitting right now? Are we wide on that just yet? Not really. As we're recording this, Venus is at 8 degrees and Mars is at 14 degrees. So we're coming into that square, but it really, I'm very excited about this as well. And it really matches with so much of the outer planets and what's really been coming up for so many people, especially, I mean, Uranus going into Gemini in and of
Oh my
itself
gosh.
was like brand new ideas. Things are integrating so quick. And like
Just like that. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And I know for both of us and for people that I've seen and friends of mine have just been like, oh, this new communication is integrated, or, musicians are doing things in a specific way. Visionaries, artists are like, this is the new way of doing things. And it's lovely because we're recognizing that maybe what we're creating can be perceived as so far off in the distance, but we're making that foundation solid. It's giving, like, these two beautiful inner planets, these personal planets are giving us that opportunity to really look at, I want this to last. I want this to really last. So I just want to look at it for a moment because we're so visual around here, because it's wild. That's wild. And you and I both have, 21 degrees of Virgo is an interesting point in both of our
Oh
charts.
yeah.
And I'm trying to think, where's 21 degrees of Gemini for me? Oh, that's in my eighth house. That's in my eighth house.
Well, that's
So
fun.
yeah, this is eighth and 11th. Wait, eighth and 12th? No, eighth and 10th. Eighth and 10th for me. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Oh my God, that's perfect. That sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. So
That works.
but this is when we know that this is where we're ending. And like we said, this is going to be in July of 2026. We know that this is how we're going to end off. What would you recommend for the next year to, if, I mean, this could be broad, this could be really broad and general, but like, how would you think with them switching signs? What do you think looking above with so much shifting? Because by the time this happens, Neptune will fully be in Aries, Saturn will fully be in Aries, and Uranus will fully be in Gemini. So all of those three outer planets are going to be fully ingressed into their new signs. I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but by that time, Jupiter will be in Leo. So it's like,
Gosh, yeah, I think it will.
can you
This is
check
when
on
is this one?
the
I'm
29th of July, 2026?
we can cut this little part out.
Yeah, but I really think that it's May. I can't even
Yeah,
think.
July
Yeah.
29th, 2026. Oh my God. Yeah, we'll be the sun and Jupiter will both be at 6 degrees of Leo, by the way.
Jesus. Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's
So it'll
beautiful.
also be the Jupiter.
So Jupiter will also be in Leo, will be in a new sign.
Yes.
So this is
Yes.
a whole new world, a whole new
And approaching a
energy.
new moon that'll almost be conjunct with Pluto.
Oh my gosh, I
Opposite
love
that.
that.
So, yeah,
I love that for all of us.
I need
That
to put,
sounds about right.
there's a lot going on in that chart.
Wait, that
Oh,
would be a full
almost
moon. Wouldn't that
six.
be a full
Full
moon?
moon. Yes, full moon.
Yeah,
Sorry, not
yeah,
new moon. Full moon.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh my
approaching a
God.
full moon.
Oh my God.
That
And
is approaching Pluto which will be at 4 degrees of Aquarius. The moon will be at 2 degrees of Aquarius.
this is so
So
beautiful.
that full moon will be on top of, oh, yeah,
I love the astrology of 2026. I almost
I
want to
do too,
start.
so
Like
much.
it's just so gorgeous. It's just so
And Venus
gorgeous.
in Virgo for this, like Venus in Virgo is such, she's like this lovingly devoted troubleshooter. Like I know that sounds nitpicky, but it's not. It's
Love that.
this is going to be coming in and just doing like the very beautiful fine tuning of everything. And with Mars in Leo, the way you're going to be motivated by it with such authenticity, like this finishing square, this is going to be
Mm,
expressing yourself so beautifully. I am
yes.
jazzed for this.
This is a beautiful one. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that. It's just, this is. Yeah, I
So,
feel like this is going to really, and this is beautiful that although it's like a square to a square, a lot of the times we can go from conjunction to conjunction and that's a
mhm.
completed cycle. But because they're just dancing with each other, this can be a full July 2025 to July 2026. You can really look at what seeds am I planting now? What is it that I want my daily life to look like? And then by July, you're going to know, like you've said, how to articulate it, how to maybe even be more efficient in your copy, or I know exactly how to like brand myself. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that come here. So I know exactly what to say. I know the vibration that's really going into it. Uranus and Gemini, all these outer planets shifting to early degrees of their sign. I mean, like Neptune and Saturn and Aries in and of itself. This is beautiful. I love that. I love that. And it really speaks to, we really speak from I statements around here and we talk about leadership a lot. And
Mhm.
when you have a healthy boss, a healthy leader, like a Venusian troubleshooter,
Mhm.
it really says your entire trajectory can be made or broken by your boss, by your leader, by the person that you look to. So really looking at for this next year, big broad brushstrokes, but look to the leadership that you kind of follow. This could be in your daily life, the job that you have. This could be the content that you listen to. This could be speaking to like what power you give to the outside world and taking that responsibility in yourself to say, I know that I can figure anything out. That was a phrase that really shifted things for me. That said,
Yeah.
if I'm unsure about what's going to happen, I know I can figure it out. I trust myself to really troubleshoot. I trust myself to navigate this with grace and to say, I maybe misspoke about something, so let me rephrase that, or let's find out the answer together, and really using those healthy words to say. And it really can be what what stops people from maybe stepping into their entrepreneurial spirit, or starting a YouTube or doing something where it's like you can make a mistake and then say, oh, I learned new information and now I'm going to adjust it, or I'm going to clip that out, or I'm going to do this. But it says I'm ready to step into my full truth, my daily life that's looking for me, and know that I have the language to navigate whatever it may be. And being kind of like this to me really says like, oh my God, it's like the emperor reversed. It's like a benevolent
Oh,
king. It's like,
yeah.
it's so beautiful to say. I love that. Like, just like hey, let's figure this out together. We're all, we're maybe everything's on fire, but look right at me. Like, we can figure this out.
Love this.
We can really figure this out. And it's, oh my goodness. I'm so excited about this. And it's just that, yeah, this 21 degrees of Virgo is such a big, I mean, that's where the South Node is sitting right now.
It is. Yeah, I think that's exactly where the South Node is right now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So this is a beautiful time to be. And that's, I think the day that the sun goes into Leo is the day that Mars is going to really sit on top of the South Node. I think that's going to be the 22nd of July. So that's going to be coming up soon.
Mhm.
So really, and I think it's by August of next year is when the South Node's really going to be leaving Virgo. But we
Mhm.
are in a bigger transit of releasing daily life that doesn't serve us. People are switching jobs, they're leaving relationships, they're changing their habits, and they're really matching the North Node being in Pisces, the habits of my future self. Where am I going? What is it that my soul came here to do? And really listening to that call. So it can really be, these are beautiful ways for us to navigate maybe something that's confusing. What do you think? Because it's like with the North Node in Pisces, I feel like sometimes that can be a little bit confusing for some people where it's like, I know I'm supposed to do this, but I don't really know what that looks like or what that sounds like. I feel like this could be a
North Node in
nice
Pisces
way.
can be very confusing. You really you can feel pulled in a million directions at the same time.
Yes.
It's the North Node in Pisces can be hard, I think.
Yeah.
Um, One thing that is popping into my head is that over this next year, while we're moving between these two squares, is that, you'd said something that people can do. Maybe how can you reframe, how can you take this reframe of a square and look at your chart? Where are the squares in your chart? Not just,
Yes.
maybe Mars and Virgo or Mars and Venus are squared, but maybe this is a great time to learn about squares and to learn how to work with them in your chart. And that could be ways to build some of these different foundations that I bet by the time we get to this square, probably something will have, I don't know. I really feel called to say, learn about all the squares in your chart
Yes. Oh, I
and
absolutely
try
love
to
that.
reframe them
I absolutely love that.
and
And
work
it's
in
just
them.
it's really, and for us to take so much time for the squares in general, I feel like is so poignant and so potent because there is so much good work that you can do. There's so much tension and friction, but also, like you'd said, that foundation that we're building a house that lasts. So definitely, I love that invitation, Susanna. And please, for anyone that's watching, comment below, what squares do you have in your chart? Is it Mars, Venus? What is happening within your chart? What sign are they in? What house are they in? How has that shown up in the past? How do you want to utilize this energy? And how do you want to, live that out moving forward? It's kind of, we can unpack, be present, and then move forward with how we want to do things. So let's talk about a trine.
Let's talk about a trine.
Let's talk about a trine. I have a running joke with a friend of mine that she always makes fun of the way that I talk about trines, and she's like, I know you don't always like them, Sarah. I know you don't always like, because I label trines as like your yes friend, where it's like,
It's your yes
it's
friend.
element to element. It's like, yes, you want to do this? Yes. You want to do
Yes.
that? Yes.
Yes.
And so let me just check my notes. The next trine that we're going to have the 7th of February, 2027.
Wow.
Conjunction, sextile, square, square, sextile. I'm just checking my notes. Sextile, sextile, square. Yes. And so that's going to be Venus in Capricorn at 5 degrees. And that's going to be Mars in Virgo retrograde at 5 degrees.
Oh, Mars is going retrograde in Virgo. I didn't have that one on my radar yet.
This is 2027, so we're far out.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
this is definitely far out, but and then the opposition comes the next month in the 19th of March. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So the 7th of February, 2027, we're going to have a Venus-Mars opposition, Venus in Capricorn 5 degrees, and Mars will be retrograde in Virgo at 5 degrees. So we don't have to talk about this actual element exactly, but what are your thoughts about trines in general? It doesn't, I mean, we can stay within the compartment, the container of Venus Mars, but please give the cafe a little bit of a different perspective, because it's like, I'm like, it's your yes friend. Everything's gonna flow. It's gonna be too much. It's like a water hose. So please, I'd love a different perspective
There,
to add
it's
to them.
I mean, trines are moving with grace. Trines kind of trust each other. There's that natural harmony. Like you said, this is when desire and action just really kind of align easily, especially when we're talking with Mars about Mars and Venus. It
Mm,
can be confidence, it can be all those things, but it can also be laziness. It can be taking something for granted, and it can be when you do have maybe something transiting that makes an aspect to that a harder aspect, it can really rock your world. Um,
mm-hmm.
I love trines. I love to work with them.
Hmm.
They're great to write about and send out in emails. Like everyone loves to hear about trines.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
beautiful. Um, but they're not, they can say yes too easily. I have to agree with you. And you have to pay attention to that because they can lead you, they can lead you astray.
Yes. Yes. And I love that so much.
Especially
And
when your
it's
inner
just,
teenager takes over during them.
oh my goodness, it's very well, like one of my most prominent aspects in my chart is a trine. My moon in Capricorn is trine my Mars in Taurus. And so that laziness, it had been so many times where it's like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to say anything. It's like you're channeling the Council of Nine. nobody needs to know about that. Like it's like it's so beautiful, and it really even spoke to even when I first started to channel, like in any sense. It's like you've been doing this, you're not going to do anything about it. And like we could go in a whole aside about Mars and Taurus in and of itself, but it's very potent. And I just to honor a short quote or a bit of a an interpretation that my friend had given me, whereas trines, it's like each planet, it's like the friend that knows you. So it can be the yes friend, but it's like when you are kind of like down and out, or maybe you've ghosted, and then your friend just shows up with your favorite snacks and it's like, hey, and you don't have to explain it, you don't have to talk about it. Like my moon and Mars, like they are happy bedfellows, they are like, so we, but again, the Mars and Taurus is like, we're gonna eat snacks, and my moon and Capricorn is like, yeah, everything's
Yes, we
posted
are.
and everything's like, it's
Yes, we are.
you've scheduled the content, everything's good, everything's monetized. It's like, yeah, it's done, it's done, it's all done. But it's so laziness, yes, I can absolutely say that from personal experience in a chart. And so this, I love that it's in an earth sign. I love that this is happening in an
Mhm.
earth sign. But what would you say? We could even just go elemental in any capacity, trines in general with Venus and Mars. What would you say? What would you say to that? We can start with, I love that Virgo is just getting rocked completely
Virgo
right
is
now.
getting rocked. I'm glad you love that.
Yeah, it's
In case someone is not, I'm a Virgo sun, moon, rising, Mercury. I'm all the Virgo, all the Virgo. So
it's happening for you,
it's happening.
Susanna. I love you, and it's so I'm proud of you for handling it. It's very like there's yeah, Virgo is, my 10th going into my 11th house. South node right now is in my 10th house. Mars is in the 10th house. And so there's not, yeah, it's really just my 11th house. I don't have any planets in Virgo. So I honor you and I respect you because I like seeing what's been going on with it and knowing that that Mars retrograde is coming in a few years as well. It's not, but one thing that I love about Virgo, just in and of itself being a mutable earth sign, it's that there's so much to when I discover something, when I know something, I've researched it, I've checked my sources, done, it's integrated. It's like it's your own pace. I'm not projecting, but just like in Virgo, my perspective of it is like it goes at your own pace. And it's like when you discover things, I mean, the hermit is the Virgo card. So it's like when you
Mhm.
go into your hermit mode and I'm in my study and I'm learning about all these things, take as long as you need. So for all my Virgo people, take as long as you need. The
Take
South
as
Node
long.
transiting that, my God, that's just, we're releasing so much in so many different ways. But
I
that,
love Venus in Capricorn so much. I
yeah,
love Venus in Capricorn.
yes.
Um, so I'm excited about this trine.
Yes,
Uh,
this is like Venus and Capricorn natally to me says like have your standards, keep your standards, never lower your standards. Like don't ever. You might even be born with higher standards than maybe perceived environment or the people in your family, the people in your life, but it's like that's okay to have standards. That's okay to have specificities. It's okay to have desires and needs and wants.
so this
And
trine is going to raise your standards.
oh, thank
This
God.
trine will raise your standards. I hope. Let this trine raise your standards. I want this trine to raise your standards.
I want that. I want that. It's where you're at 5 degrees of Capricorn. That's going to be that's going to be conjunct my natal Neptune in my second house. I like that. I like that so much. Where's 5 degrees of Capricorn for you? Where
That's
is
still
that
in
for
my
you?
fourth house.
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
I
And I
love
don't have,
that.
I don't actually have any Capricorn placements.
Really?
And there's a lot of asteroids on this chart too, but I don't have any Capricorn placements,
Oh
which I
yeah.
think is
Oh yeah.
interesting.
That's fascinating. That's
I don't have
very
any
interesting.
Capricorn or Aquarius placements other than my vertex is in Aquarius.
That's and that really just speaks to what you're creating for the new
Mhm.
world and what you're really moving forward. And it's just, and maybe even this is just coming to me now, even just giving yourself grace to say this was the time that you were supposed to flourish within your business and to like really just say like it had to be Pluto and Aquarius, it had to be this Aquarian age, it had to be all of that. And just speaking of Aquarius, the opposition. This is so wild. I'm excited. So it's 2025 as we're talking. This opposition that we're talking about is the 19th of March, 2027. So Venus is going to be at 21 degrees of Aquarius, and Mars is still going to be retrograde in Leo at 21 degrees. Let's talk oppositions in general of these planets in the chart. It's rare. Like there has to be a retrograde planet. Like one of them absolutely has to be retrograde for this to happen, since they normally will hang out with the sun and with Mercury. So this is big stuff. This is big stuff. What are your thoughts on oppositions in general? And we can just take the floor.
Oppositions is the mirror. This is like the whole, it's the mirror of wholeness. It's both
Mm.
looking at each other full on from across the room.
Mhm.
So this can really create like some big internal swings or projections. Softness in others or assertiveness in yourself. It's not a split. It's they both need space to exist. And with an opposition, this is integration. We've got to hold both ends of the spectrum and
Yes.
somehow balance in the middle.
Yes. That's beautiful. It's oppositions when we have that full moon energy. So it's potent, it's powerful, it's like you'd said, it's more emotionally based instead of that, or just looking at how they connect and communicate to each other. It's going to be a little bit more emotional instead of practical. Whereas new moon energy, that conjunction, it's like I can discern, I can separate, I can talk this out. Where I personally feel like an opposition, that it's more like there'll be that explosion, the emotional explosion, and then afterwards they're like, oh, I might maybe I could have done something differently. Maybe I could have really unpacked that in a different way. And so again, that discernment and that getting to know those oppositions. And there was an astrologer that I had learned from a few years ago, where not everyone in oppositions in general in the chart, it speaks to I want to master this. Like whether you're born under a full moon or you're born under a Mars Venus opposition, because it's more rare, like this is every 2 years or so. It's like I came in to figure this out. I came in to work with this energy. I came in to master this type of energy. So this is very fascinating to me, as well as being on this axis, on this fixed axis, I find to be very, very fascinating. And, Venus in Aquarius, that's my natal placement. I'm very like this is activating my chart. So I'm looking forward to that. It's one of the only air planets that I have in my chart is my Venus in Aquarius and my Chiron in Gemini. And so this is like it's sitting on top of this will be my IC and this will be on my midheaven. So I'm jazzed, kind of like
I love this axis. I
it's
love this Leo.
so good.
It's the self and the collective, and this is wanting to just bring the very best version of yourself and of everyone else, and just
Hmm.
really seeing everyone's gifts. And this axis makes me so happy. I mean, they all do,
This,
but like
I
I
know, I know. We
love
get
this.
so excited, but it's very much like this is so irrational, and I apologize if this comes off as inappropriate to anyone, but it's like I want the babies born with this planetary, like if you could plan to have a child around this time period where we have that Venus Mars opposition, everyone, that would be incredible because these
Beyond
types
that.
of kids they got something to say, do, assert, like this is, and it's very much about the Aquarian age of the wishes for the future. Wherever Aquarius falls in your chart, you might feel as though if you're watching this in 2025 or going forward that you're ahead of the crowd, or that you don't fit in, or it's a little bit fringe, or it's a little bit like you're trying to create something that has not been created before. Like the amount of clients that I have right now that are really seeing things so far in the future, that are trying to loop that into their daily life, it's profound and it's beautiful. And so this is really such a visionary space and such a visionary alignment that's happening here. And Mars and Leo, like especially with that retrograde, I'm really reminding ourselves that this is just coming to me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Reminding yourself that you're allowed to play and that you're allowed to have creative expression. That's in my practice. One of like the most key components is having that day to play or that day off where you're not always doing, asserting, asserting, asserting. And it's we all have Venus and Mars in our charts. So whether you're divine feminine, divine masculine presenting, it's everyone. You need that time to rest and to play and to, have that childlike joy, whether you're playing with kiddos, whether you're having kiddos, whether you are experiencing romance. There's so much beauty to that. And I absolutely love it that this is our next opposition. But please, if anyone's planning on having children,
Mhm.
shoot for March of 2027 because that would be
Or start a
amazing.
business during then.
Oh,
This would
I
be a
love
great
that. Thank
aspect to have
you.
in your business chart.
Yes, 100%. I love
Yeah,
that. I
that'd
love
be a
that. Oh my
great
goodness.
aspect. I think that'd be
That
a
would be,
fun one.
yeah,
Oh my
I love
God.
that idea. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Launch
That's
a
I learned about
business.
business birth charts from someone, and I think that's really interesting.
Have you pulled up the chart for your business before?
Not
I
that
would,
not for I have for when I first bought my first website, Stargazer, and did all that. I have not done it for Modern Priestess Collective. I need to. I want to go look and see what the timestamp is on the email from when I bought the domain, because
that's
that's what I do
interesting.
it by.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
need
It's
to
kind
go
of
look.
like whenever I'm for myself and for my business, I don't know the time that I launched it, but it was the 20th of March, 2020. So it's an Aries rising chart because I use the general wheel, Aries sun, but an Aquarius moon for my business. I'm like, that tracks. That absolutely
Well,
tracks.
if you have go back and search through your emails. You might have a time-stamped email somewhere.
Right. I'm gonna look back. If you just gave me,
Also an Aries rising really totally resonates too. So
it's pretty, it's when I've looked at it and it's what is it? Chiron and Lilith are conjunct in the first house in Aries. It was just it's incredible the chart of the YouTube and it just I loved it. But if I could find out, I'd be interested.
you
I'd be
tell me what
very
you think.
interested to know. But the Aries rising it does. It tracks
It
it.
totally
It's like
resonates.
and like
Yeah,
this the sun conjunct the rising, the whole thing. I'm like, yeah,
that
that's
totally
about
resonates.
right. That's about right. But this, I love this opposition, and I love that this is kind of what we're working towards. I think that, you know, well, I didn't look any farther past 2027. I wanted to leave it at that,
That's
just
pretty
so we
far.
knew, like, I wanted to have for everybody watching a conjunction, some sextiles, some squares, a trine, and an opposition. And so I think that that is to really go back to our intentions, looking at when they clash and when they don't speak the same language. What, if we have not touched upon it, what are some other notes? Like, what always sticks out for you as to how they don't work or when they flow a lot, like flow very easily? What are the signs that really like more some general notes? If there's something that we have not talked about, what are some other general notes that we could give everybody today?
Let's see. So, I mean, a lot of time, it just with the elements when they're in different ones, basically, like if Venus is in a water sign and Mars is in a fire sign, this might be kind of a longing for emotional intimacy, but you could maybe act really impulsively. So this might
Mm.
be about learning to act with sensitivity and really honor your instinct without overriding your feelings.
I love that. I love that.
If you have Venus in air and Mars in an earth sign, you might crave like intellectual connection or social flow while really, you know, taking cautious, grounded action. So that's maybe about letting your thought and the embodiment really meet, like trusting that clarity and presence really that they can kind of coexist.
Yes. Oh, I absolutely love that.
Um, what else? Yeah, and like if Venus is in an earth sign, she's gonna seek stability and like proof of value. But if Mars is in a fire sign, Mars is going to want bold leaps and like this quick gratification. So you've got to kind of let the desire when it's grounded, let that really set the pace. And channel like passion through consistency and things like that.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Is that water and fire, air? We do Venus and fire, Mars and water.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. So if Venus is in a fire sign, she's really daring and she's expressive, and Mars
Yes.
moves from, because this is what I have, Mars moves from emotion and can retreat. And this one is about just honoring your desire to
Yes.
to shine, to show up and trust that emotional safety, like that really kind of fuels a lasting fire. That's about building, yeah.
I love those.
I think that's I think that's everything. Do
Yeah.
Venus in air, Mars in water?
Mars and water.
In air, yeah, Venus is gonna like really, oh no, that's what I, yeah. In air, Venus is really gonna, she's gonna intellectualize everything, the desire and the value, and where Mars in water is gonna move from emotion. And so this is, there could be a lot of freeze in this. This is really practicing presence in your communication and inviting emotion to be spoken and thought and expressed and not just held inside of you.
Yes. Oh, I absolutely love that. And as you're talking, really giving these planets, giving these whatever Venus falls in, whatever Mars falls in, give them a space to connect and to communicate and bring them to the same table. Like this is a cafe, so I always use cafe tables.
Visualize it.
It's exactly visualize, what does my Venus in this sign need? What does my Mars in this sign want to do? And let them come to the same table and really bring your true self, your true heart to that. And also bring your not self themes and kind of be the mediator between the two of them and say, we've done this in the past. This has not worked. This is how I want to move in this world. This is what the standards that I have are. This is what I need to receive. And letting whatever it is that and not judging yourself for what it is that you want and your desire. And I think that depending on any sign that, at the when I was first really getting to know my Venus in Aquarius, I was just every book had said like, oh, you're unconventional, or oh, you're this, or oh, you're that, where it was a very there was this film of negativity of like, oh, you're different, like you're different, so you're gonna need someone that's ABZ to be able to do that. Whereas it's not that you're different, it's saying, I know how to love me. I get to know my Venus in Aquarius. I get to know what love means to me, what my desires are, what my expectations are for myself and for the energy that I allow into my field. And Mars and Taurus is like, I'm not going to go do that until you've decided, until you've set the healthy standard. This, like, till you've really accepted that you're not different, you're just you. You're not like, don't compare yourself to anyone else. You're this specific puzzle piece that does have a partner that will match that specific puzzle piece. And so that's so okay. But until you learn, like I love my Mars and Taurus. There's negatives to it. It's like people don't always like that placement, but it really says that we're not going to make moves until Venus has decided what you actually want. And Venus in air is like, well, it might change tomorrow. And Mars and Taurus is like, you take your time, girl. Like you take your time. Like it's so something that I had originally in study and in practice resented, based on very traditional reference books. And now getting to know them, bringing them to the same table, just got me to fall in love with myself, that aspect, so many different ways, so many different ways. And it's just so it's I love this. I feel so good about today's talk. Is there anything else
Ooh,
that you want to add to? Let me check my notes over here. Anything else that you want to add, Susanna?
thanks. I Yeah, we'll have some good integration questions that we'll put down I'll send those to you. They're, some good, like what happens when your Venus desires and your Mars actions are speaking different languages? And do you ever find
Mm,
yourself chasing what you actually want to receive? And how does your Mars protect your Venus? And does it sometimes overstep? So I think we've got some good questions for people to kind of look at. And I love hearing about you kind of rediscovering and re-understanding your Venus placement because I've absolutely done the same thing with my Mars placement, which from
yes.
you a lot of your Mars workshop. I'm going to put a plug in here right now for Sarah's Mars Mastering Mars workshop. If you have not done this yet, you need to. It is spectacular. You put so much work into that. I was blown away by it. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for that. Because
I'm
you know
so
what?
grateful.
Mars in Cancer conjunct Jupiter is not like I struggled with that one, but I understand it so much better now. And
Absolutely.
it takes mastering them both,
Yes.
and you have so much Aries, and that Mars in Taurus is slow and deliberate. And I bet that was hard to reconcile.
It was
That was
my
really, and they don't really talk to you,
No, they
There's no
don't.
aspect. They
There's
are
no aspects
totally existing
there.
separately.
It's very, I'm so, and
Very.
I have my sun conjunct Jupiter. So a Jupiter conjunction, we could talk for years about that. And it's just so, like, thank God for the irrationality of an early degree Aries sun sign or any sort of placement, because I never would have done any of the things that I've done. I never would have started back in 2020. I never would have just pressed post and figured it out later and done any of these things. But the Mars and Taurus says, you do your reps and sets, you figure out the way, but nothing's going to fully happen until every bit is in perfect alignment, everything. But at this point in time, it's like you have 5 years of dedicated, this is what I've been doing for 5 years. So it's very, it's like it needed that foundation. It needed, like, it felt like the past 5 years has been like layering the baklava and like going like every little bit of every video and learning and doing all of these things to come to a space of, oh no, 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 she walks her talk. Oh no, 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 she definitely can do all of the things that she says that she's doing. So it's, I'm very, very grateful. And the patience of that, because I struggle with patience so much with that Aries sun. It's not my strong suit in any capacity. It's just, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But the Mars and Taurus can be very patient.
Mhm.
Like we talked about earlier, it can be lazy, but can be very, very patient. So I am so grateful for you. I love these chats, and
Too.
I would love to, please, how can the cafe support you? How can people find you to work with you in one-on-one sessions, to work with you? What are the best things that you'd like to chat about what's coming up for you right now? How can we best support you?
So I'm on Instagram as a Modern Priestess Collective. My website is modernpriestesscollective.com. I do astrology readings. I do distance Reiki sessions. I am really focusing a lot right now on some local events. I'm in East Tennessee, some women's circles, and I'm working on some meditation and sound bath events that I'm ridiculously excited about.
I can't
And
wait.
I also have a course that will be launching soon called The Embodied Zodiac, which is a self-paced guide, just working with the zodiac more as like a cycle, a procession from one sign to the next, and what does that journey look like? So, if you're feeling drawn to that kind of work, blending astrology with devotion and ritual and self-discovery, I would love to invite you in. I
Yes.
send out free emails every new and full moon, as well as every time
Mhm.
Venus changes signs. So there's a pop-up on that, as well as a link in the bio on my Instagram page. So,
Yes, wonderful. And I would highly recommend that people get to know Susanna through her emails. There have been times that I've opened your emails and I'll just be like, oh, what's going on? And then all of a sudden I'm like so seen and I'm like, I'm at the grocery store. I didn't expect this right now. And you just talk so beautifully. And it's just, it's so potent. And there's so many action steps and so many integrations that you can really, so I'd highly recommend Susanna's work. I've learned so much from her work, and really, like I talked about with the squares, like I learned how to fall in love with an aspect of my chart as an astrologer who studies charts through your work. So it was just really, you were able to cut right through what I've seen and what I've studied and what I've learned and really get to the heart of it. It was so Venus based and so love filled. So I really, I'm so grateful because, the, again, like the whole way that I view my own chart and the way that I understand that aspect has shifted because of you. So thank you so, so much. Thank you.
well, I've enjoyed this so much.
Me too, me too.
Great.
So please, everyone, comment your questions below. Like I said, in the description, we're going to have some exploratory questions for you, all different things. What questions you have about this? Where are Mars and Venus in your chart? What has been coming up for you? And please ask any questions moving forward, whether it's about Jupiter or other things that Susanna and I can talk about. So we're opening the conversation to everyone else. So enjoy, everyone, and we will see you again soon. Thank you, Susanna, so
Bye.
much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.